Have you ever heard the saying that you can't be rich and you can't be poor at the same time? You can't be in Delhi and you can't be in Mumbai at the same time. Two atomic particles cannot be at the same location at the same time. Well, these things cannot might not be applied to individuals or atomic particles, but Uttar Pradesh, one of the largest state of India, has that unique ability. It is listed in top 5 richest state of India, and it is also the top 5 poorest state of India. So how it is possible? So let's go deep into that and let's figure it out. But before we go very deep, let's set some boundary condition. So Uttar Pradesh is number one in term of population, which means its population is more than 200 million, and it is more than 70% of population of United States right now, and combined population of entire Europe. So you can understand the situation. Apart from that, in term of area as well, it comes under top 5 in India. I think number 1 is Rajasthan. So basically UP has everything. It has large surface area, that means its land are productive, very suitable for agriculture. The state is also gifted with really good perennial rivers plus Himalayan rivers, which are flowing throughout the year. Apart from that, state is also gifted with some cities which is known for its mechanical productions. Ghaziabad, Varanasi, Kanpur, and other states as well. Apart from that, this state has also a lot of minerals, and cities such as Noida, which is a kind of not a high level IT hub like Gurgaon or Bangalore, but relatively real well. So that accounts for the region of being rich, for wealth. But what accounts for poverty? So we discuss about the population of Uttar Pradesh, which is above 200 million 200 million people. Now let's talk about another fact: literacy rate. It is around 67%. It means in 100 people, 67 people can write their name. They don't have to use their finger stamp. But that does not tell the whole story, because just you can write your name and sign using your signature. That does not means that you are qualified as a knowledge worker. Knowledge worker, by knowledge worker I mean that somebody who can work into administrative job, IT job, the jobs which does not require manual labor. So if you'll go from that criteria, the percentage of the population in 200 million would be around like between 30 to 40%. So it leaves 60% of people outside of that, who are educated, who can sign their on their checks and everything using their signature, but they are not qualified enough to do an administrative job or knowledge job. They are qualified for manual labor job, but there isn't job for 200 million peoples, right? And another thing about wealth is if you look historically, like more than 90% of the wealth is concentrated to top 10% of the people. Bottom 90%, in that 30% are working to corporate or government job, who rise through the rank and become CEO, general manager, or things like that. So through that they make good amount of money that they can live their life comfortably. They can put their children through uh, private education to ensure that their future is bright. But now 60% of people are left who can sign and apart in that 35% of people, around more than 30% of people who are not elite, who cannot even sign their using their own signature. That means they are only qualified for manual labor. Like every state has a government scheme manrega, in which during season government pays, give them regular employment and government pays them. But that you can't do that for around more than 100 million people. It is not possible. So that's how it is, that even though the state makes a lot of money, it is in the top two, but more than 100 plus million people are unemployed. That means state is taking care of them, state is trying to educate them, state is also trying to create new employment so that they can earn money, they can get educated, upskilled, and they can migrate to other places and make money as well. But that process takes time, and that process also takes a lot of investment. UP would have been the richest state of India. How? If its population was around, say, 100 million people, right? And the situation what it is right now, they were generating the same revenue. That means even we deduce 40% of people along with ultra wealthy people plus people who work in a private or government job who make a steady income, then those other people they could have earned money through other government schemes, small entrepreneur business as well. Some make manual labor through migration and all that things. It would have left a very considerable amount but manageable amount of people who would have been dependent on the government, and the government could have taken care of them really well. But when you have 100 millions, more than 100 million people who are, in which around 50 plus million people are illiterate, then it is a very precarious situation. It does not only affect the country, state, it also affects the country, because at the end of the day government take care of states and state take care of its people, like the federalization thing. So if those 60 million people were really educated, yeah, they would not have made like 20,000 like 30,000 rupees per month, but they could have made considerable amount of money, so they could have taken care of themselves. That would have meant that those people would have educated their children, and that way the upcoming future generation would have gotten out of the poverty. That means country GDP would have increased, country name from the poverty index would have improved. So does the states, right? And another thing is, illiteracy is directly proportional to the poverty. You can't say the same thing about wealth, that wealth is directly proportional to the success of a country, directly proportional to the absence of poverty. So we can see that in the case of UP, that's not the thing. This state is also rich, but it is also poor at the same time. You can say that the state is rich but the people are poor, but it is also the same, when a large number of poor people are living under the poverty line, then that makes a lot of bad implication on the states. Those people would go through different kind of disease and a lot of things which life presents, and they would have to be taken care by state governments, government doctors. So everybody suffers in that case. The people suffer, the government suffers, because they would have to allocate large fund of the people, the government, toward the people who are not contributing toward the economy in that case. So what can state do? They can invest in them. It will take 5 to 10 years, around 15 years, to ensure that they are out of poverty. So you can then ask the question, like, what happens if every person is educated well? It doesn't have to be like every person is staying in UP. A lot of people move out of country, a lot of people move nearby country, other states. So it it makes a big difference. If not for the state, for the normal people, if they can live their life without worrying of feeding their children, not sleeping empty stomach and those kind of things. So what's the solution? Solution is education and little bit of acknowledgement and sharing responsibility by government in providing them a steady, small but steady stream of income so that they can get out of this poverty, and a lot of little bit of health infrastructure as well, because if a large number of population are suffering from disease and malnutrition, then it puts enough pressure on the state to create chaos. So I hope things gets better. It is better now, but it can get far better. So thanks for watching this and please subscribe.